This is a typical speaker. Can you see that over there? Secretary? There we go. This would be a typical speaker that you'd find in a church. This is one of the speakers that I use. I have 6 of these in my rental fleet. This is a 12-inch woofer, and this is a horn. One of the things that I've learned over the years in trying to reproduce sound is we need to understand how our body makes sound. And it's amazing what God made in this little area right here, our mask, our vocal folds, the cavities in our mouth. We try to reproduce that with these big boxes, and this box here does not do justice to what this can do. Really, we need something that would be about 18 feet by 18 feet when you get to the physics of it. When you talk about the directional control of the low frequencies, you talk about the power. So we got our woofer. This is taking care of our low frequencies. So when we're singing, what are low frequencies? Well, obviously, we got men that can sing down low, but more importantly, it's your vowels. Your vowels project. Your vowels have a very open sound. Your vowels will carry in suspensions. Your vowels will be the depth of your music. Your consonants, your T's, your B's, your P's, your F's, the clarity comes out of your horn. So when you start to understand how we reproduce speech and then how we need to make that come through here so you can hear it naturally, we start to appreciate things a little bit differently. In a sound system, this is one of the most important parts of your speaker. This is our horn. This is what gives us the intelligibility. This is what gives us the clarity. This is what gives us the sibilance, the S's and the T's. If this horn was blocked, or if this horn was not here, we would be struggling. These speakers, for example, on the sides, you don't see horns in these speakers. You see a little dome tweeter. So you say, that speaker is not going to be sufficient for punching through the clutter of the room to be able to overcome the singing. Because when we're singing, I want you to be able to feel the piano. I want you to be able to hear the piano. Piano is going to give us tempo. Piano is going to give us pitch. But from a sound man, I can also help push the singing by pushing the piano. If I don't have this tweeter or this horn, you're not going to hear the attack of the piano. You're going to hear the muddiness, but you're not going to hear the attack. One of the reasons when we're up on a stage or a platform and it sounds really boomy or muddy, low frequencies are omnidirectional. This cabinet, because it's so small, it will radiate low frequencies out the back and the sides and the top. But our high frequencies are very directional. Our high frequencies go where we point them. So that also couples with our floor monitors, our minimizers. The minimizers don't produce a lot of low frequencies because our sound system produces enough low frequencies for us. So if we think about this, our stage is being just swallowed up with low frequencies. So when we couple the minimizers with that, when we time align them, and sometimes we have to change the phasing or delay the floor monitors, we can get this sound to where the minimizers pick up what's being left off. The minimizers were named after a colleague of mine at the college, Joe Miser. He had an idea of making a small floor monitor. So he made it out of a cardboard box. We plugged it in. It sounded like junk. I mean, the cardboard box is just distorting and just vibrating. But I thought, that's interesting. So I scaled it down, built the first prototype, and from there we've been off to the races. I felt like it was very important for him to get part of the credit, so I called it the Minimizer. My slogan is, a superior message demands superior communication. When we come into this room, we assemble to hear. And there's starting to become a shift in the mega churches and in the marketing, and Brother Jeremy talked about it, about simplicity. We are living in a world that is being constantly bombarded with music and communication, whatever media platform you're on, wherever you're at, in the elevator, at the gas station, at the restaurant, you're being bombarded, you're being manipulated to eat slower, to eat faster, to spend more, to spend less, to move faster, to move slow. You're being manipulated, the emotions in your mind are being played with to do what you need to do. So when we come in here, we assemble to hear. So one of the things that I wanted just to talk on just briefly is analog versus digital. We're going to talk about wired versus wireless. And then I'm going to ask you a couple questions at the end. Silent films were the commonplace up until about 1928. 1928 is when they first started to introduce audio into the films. And there's, I I think it was Singing in the Rain, maybe did kind of a play on that. But one of the things that the talents that they hired to play those roles in silent films that could depict emotion with their face and could tell a story without hearing it, when audio started to be introduced and they started to mic those stars, they started to realize that people already attached a mental picture to what that person's voice should sound like. And those stars in the silent films didn't transition very well into the films with audio. Now let's fast forward a little bit. Radio. When radio started to make the change into TV, most of the radio talent was able to move straight over into television because everybody had already assigned their voice in their head. They may have assigned a mental picture, but it was so much easier to overcome that mental picture than it is to overcome the voice. You think about an opera singer. An opera singer, most opera singers aren't going to have a voice that matches their face or matches their image, but after a few, 3-4 minutes of it, you dismiss what they look like and you just enjoy the music. And that's going to be most any way across the board. So our medium of communication is going to be our sound system. Now, we're in the MP3, MP4 era. And I told you there's starting to be a shift back to more of the fundamentals. We're in an era right now that you can get what you want, when you want it, how you want it on your mobile device. The way they're able to do that is they are compressing the audio into the smallest file possible. So imagine I write a sentence out on the board and I take away every fourth letter and then I scoot that together. Your brain is still going to be able to read that sentence, but you're having to work harder. You're also losing bits of information. So they're constantly trying to compress and squash that down and get that sound to be as compressed and get that file as small as possible, but still be able to give you the ability to communicate. Now, when we have people come into this style of service, this is going to be a foreign place for most people because we believe that the simplicity of the gospel says it all. We're not putting on a big production, a big show. We believe in the simplicity, the power of the spoken word, the power of the preached word. So that's where we make full circle into our sound system. How is your sound doing? Is your sound a distraction? Is your sound an enhancement? One of the things that we have to remember, sound reinforcement of the spoken word is one of the hardest forms of audio in the market. People will say, I got a good sound system in my car, I got a good sound system at my house, or man, that concert was amazing. Well, music is so much easier to get out to where everybody's happy and where everybody can be comfortable and like, man, this is good. But if you take a person speaking, and you put it on a system that's designed and tuned for music, you're going to find a lot of deficiencies.